needs to do to keep the team's head above water, right? So it's a balancing act. They were struggling. LeBron got the ball, took control, right? Decided to start playing point, doing everything. That's not the recipe for winning championships by no means, but it is a recipe to keep your head above water. Give yourself a little breathing room. And now let's go back to teaching how to play the way that we want to.
The Kobe Bryant warned us about LeBron, and now that warning feels louder than ever. LeBron James is reportedly done with the Lakers after 8 seasons. He is leaving as the greatest scorer the game has ever seen. He gave Los Angeles a championship. He gave the Lakers years of huge games and huge moments. For a while, it looked like a perfect match. The legend joining a legendary team, but when the news broke that his run was over, it did not feel like the end of Magic Johnson's Lakers. It did not feel like the end of Kobe Bryant's Lakers. It felt shorter. It felt colder. It felt more like a business deal than a bond. LeBron won. But did he build something that would last? That question sat quietly under the surface for years. And it is the same question Kobe Bryant raised a long time ago. Some analysts even said this out loud once LeBron's exit became real. And while we look back at the warning Kobe gave, give this video hype if you think this story needs to be heard by more basketball fans because most people missed it the first time. The Byron Scott, a man who won 3 titles in Los Angeles, gave LeBron's Laker era a grade of B, not an A, not a failing grade either, just a solid grade for a run that never became a dynasty. Colin Cowherd took it further. He said LeBron always felt like a visitor in Los Angeles, like a great player passing through, not a player who truly belonged. These are opinions, not proven facts, but they point to something real. Loved the wins. Love the highlights. Still, something about the whole run felt unfinished when it ended, like a story missing its final chapter. To understand why smart people felt this way, we have to go back to the very start of LeBron's time with the Lakers, back to a warning almost nobody wanted to hear. The LeBron signed with the Lakers in the summer of 2018, fans were thrilled. The team had missed the playoffs for years, and now the biggest star in the sport was coming to save them. But behind the excitement, a few people close to the game were already worried. By December of that same year, Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson spoke up. The Magic worried about LeBron's body. He feared LeBron was playing too many minutes and doing too much, the same heavy workload that wore him down in his second run with Cleveland. The Kobe's worry went deeper than tired legs. The Kobe said that having LeBron control the ball on every single trip down the court was not the recipe for winning championships. That line stuck. It was not an insult. It was a warning from one legend to another. The Kobe pointed out that LeBron was basically playing point guard, bringing the ball up himself, making the calls himself, and taking those chances away from young guard Lonzo Ball. The player who badly needed those reps to grow into his role. The scouts even noticed that LeBron was skipping past the plays that his own coach, Luke Walton, was calling from the bench to Kobe. This was not just a small detail. It was the whole problem in one sentence. When one player runs everything, the team can survive. It can even win games, but it may never learn how to grow on its own. The Kobe explained his thinking in simple terms. The A-team built around one star handling the ball every time can work well in the regular season. It can pull a shaky roster through 82 games, but in the playoffs, when every team slows down and studies its opponent, a one-man system becomes easy to figure out. The Kobe used James Harden as his example. The Harden ran the Houston offense almost the exact same way, standing behind the three-point line, waiting for his turn to attack alone, while his teammates stood and watched from their spots on the floor. The Kobe said that style was never going to win a championship, because a smart defense only had to guard one thing. Take away that one option, and the whole offense stalls. That is the exact fear Kobe raised about LeBron's own system in Los Angeles. Not because LeBron lacked skill, but because one option, no matter how great, is still one option. Basketball fans call this idea heliocentric basketball. It simply means the whole team spins around one star, the same way planets spin around the sun. It sounds like a compliment at first. One great player carrying everyone else. But Kobe saw the danger hiding inside that compliment. If the star gets tired, or hurt, or doubled by 2 defenders, the entire team can freeze. There is no second system to fall back on. Everyone else has spent the season standing and watching instead of learning how to create for themselves. That, in Kobe's mind, was the real cost hiding behind every easy regular season win. The Kobe did not come up with this idea on his own. It came from years of lessons taught by his old coach, Phil Jackson. Jackson often pushed Kobe to do less. Not because Kobe lacked talent, but because Jackson wanted the whole team sharp for the playoffs. Jackson believed a superstar's real job was to place the game in his teammates' hands, forcing them to make hard plays under real pressure long before the postseason arrived, so that by the time the games truly mattered, the nothing about the moment felt new or frightening to anyone on the floor. That was uncomfortable. It meant losing a few games early. It meant watching a teammate miss a big shot instead of taking it yourself. But Jackson believed that discomfort built a stronger team once the games mattered most. Kobe carried that lesson with him for the rest of his career. He believed a team had to suffer suffer a little to grow. LeBron's approach worked differently. When trouble came, LeBron usually solved it himself, taking over with his passing, his scoring, or both. It made sense in the moment. It often worked, but Kobe believed it quietly held teammates back because they never had to face the hardest moments without their star doing the heavy lifting for them. This was not just a basketball argument about strategy. It was an argument about who carries pressure, who carries fear, and who learns to carry a team when it counts. The Kobe believed that lesson had to be earned through hard nights in the regular season, not learned for the first time in a playoff series when it was already too late to fail safely. That difference in mindset showed up clearly during the 2012 All-Star Game. With the game on the line and his team trailing by 3 points, LeBron had a chance to take the final shot. Instead, he passed. He tried it again a second time. Both times, the pass did not lead to a good result, and the team lost the ball entirely. The Kobe guarding the play at that exact moment was furious. He yelled at LeBron to shoot the ball instead of giving it away. In Kobe's eyes, the best player on the floor had just handed away the moment, choosing the safest read over the boldest one when the whole building was waiting for a hero to step forward. It was not the first time people noticed this pattern in LeBron. Years earlier, during his third season in the league, LeBron admitted something himself. He said he did not have the same instinct as Kobe, the drive to want to beat everybody in the room. That honest comment followed him for years. Critics gave him a nickname for it, mocking his habit of passing in the biggest moments instead of shooting. LeBron's passing made him one of the most efficient offensive players ever built, kept his body fresh across a long career. But in Kobe's world, the top player had to force the issue when the game demanded it, not calculate the smartest pass and hope it worked out. To be fair, that same passing habit was also LeBron's biggest gift. It made his teammates better. It stretched his career further than almost anyone in league history. Nobody can honestly say LeBron was never clutch, because the research behind this story does not support that claim either, and plenty of his biggest games prove the opposite. But critics used this pattern, the passing over shooting, the trust in numbers over instinct, to question him again and again in his biggest moments. The Kobe's reaction on that All-Star night became a symbol of that criticism. It showed the gap between two different ideas of greatness. One said trust the system and make the right read. The other said take the moment and never let it go. Both approaches won championships. Both approaches also drew criticism, but only one of them, in Kobe's eyes, actually prepared a team to handle real playoff adversity on its own. The Kobe and LeBron did not just clash in style. They clashed in the small mental battles too, and one story shows this perfectly. For years, LeBron noticed that Kobe used strange hand signals every time he crossed midcourt. The Kobe would glance toward his coach, flash a series of signals, and appear to be calling a real set play. The LeBron, known for a sharp basketball mind, spent 5 years trying to crack the code, thinking there was a secret system hidden in those movements. It was only later, while the two players were teammates on the same Olympic team, that LeBron finally asked Kobe about it directly. The Kobe laughed. He admitted there was never any real play behind the signals at all. It was pure misdirection, a trick meant to make LeBron overthink so Kobe could attack in isolation while his mind was elsewhere. That story is not just funny. It shows how far Kobe would go to find any small edge over elite competition, testing focus as much as skill. Despite all of this, the respect between the two men was real, and it never disappeared. The Kobe openly said that if he could choose any player in his prime to be his teammate, it would have been LeBron. The Kobe felt their styles would fit together well, since LeBron built plays for others, while Kobe finished them, each one covering the exact gap the other player left open. One man passed, one man scored. The Kobe believed those two habits could complement each other perfectly. That respect matters here, because this story is not about hate between two legends. It is about a basketball disagreement between two of the greatest players who ever lived. One built on trust in others, and one built on trust in himself. The Kobe never once suggested LeBron was not great. He simply believed greatness alone does not guarantee a lasting team, and he said so long before anyone in Los Angeles wanted to hear it. The Kobe's warning also stretched beyond style and into leadership. Some analysts, including Stephen A. Smith, have pointed to what they call an accountability gap around LeBron, the idea that few people in his career ever challenged him directly. The Kobe's Lakers were built the opposite way. When Ron Artest joined the team, Kobe wasted no time setting the tone, telling him plainly that this was not a place to relax and that he expected total focus from everyone around him. The Lakers president Jeannie Buss backed that same hard standard, saying any player scared of playing alongside Kobe simply did not belong on the roster. That was the culture Kobe built, one where every teammate faced pressure straight on. Under LeBron, the research suggests a very different structure formed, one where LeBron's influence shaped almost every major decision the front office made. The Kobe's Lakers had a standard that pushed back against comfort. The LeBron's Lakers, by contrast, often bent around keeping him happy. It is not that LeBron LeBron demanded this bending on purpose. It is that few people around him were ever positioned to push back, and that quiet gap shaped almost every roster decision that followed. This shift showed clearly in how the roster changed over time. In 2019, the Lakers traded away their young core, sending out Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and Kyle Kuzma, along with future draft picks, to bring in Anthony Davis. The Kobe actually supported this trade, arguing plainly that Davis was one of the best players alive and that the move made basketball sense. That part is fair, and it deserves to be said clearly. But this trade also started a pattern. The Lakers kept trading away young talent and future flexibility to chase whatever star fit the current moment. That approach can work for a while. It also leaves very little room for error. The A-team built this way needs everything to go right at once. The health of every star, the fit of every role player, the timing of every trade, and very few teams in league history ever managed that for long. The clearest example came in 2021, when LeBron and Anthony Davis pushed the front office toward trading for Russell Westbrook, a move meant to add another huge name to a roster already built around 2 stars. To make the move, the Lakers gave up key role players from their championship roster, including Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Kyle Kuzma, 2 players who had helped hold the defense and the locker room together. This is the moment where Kobe's early warning became real. The Lakers chased another big name. They lost their balance. They lost defensive depth. They lost the steady role players who make a team survive a long season. The team became top-heavy, built around stars but thin everywhere else. Exactly the kind of short-term fix Kobe had warned about years earlier. Every trade made sense in the moment it happened. Together, they told the exact story Kobe had predicted years earlier, one big move after another, with very little foundation left underneath it all. This same pattern showed up somewhere else too, long before LeBron ever wore purple and gold. Kyrie Irving once looked up to Kobe as a mentor, often asking him for advice on staying mentally strong. After Cleveland completed a historic comeback in the NBA Finals, Kyrie called Kobe straight from the locker room to thank him, saying Kobe's advice on toughness and aggression had helped make it happen. But playing beside LeBron eventually wore on Kyrie. He wanted to be the lead voice on his own team, much like Kobe once refused to stay in anyone's shadow during his own career, choosing his own path even when it meant real conflict. Kyrie's decision to leave Cleveland became an example of how life inside LeBron's system, with one star controlling nearly everything, could quietly push away a hungry, ambitious co-star. This does not mean Kobe caused that split. The story simply shows how a Kobe-like hunger for control can clash with a system built around one dominant decision-maker. It happened once in Cleveland. Years later, echoes of the same tension followed LeBron all the way to Los Angeles, long before his final season with the team ever arrived. All of this leads back to how LeBron's time in Los Angeles actually ended. The championship was real, and it mattered. Winning a title in a shortened, difficult season was a true accomplishment, and nothing about this story erases that. But after that title, the Lakers never made it back to the finals. They lost in the first round more than once. They missed the playoffs entirely one year. Their final chapter with LeBron ended in a sweep, losing 4 straight games to Oklahoma City in the conference semifinal. There was no deep playoff run to close things out. There was no clear young core left behind to carry the franchise forward. No group of rising players ready to keep the window open the way past Lakers eras always seemed to manage. One title, followed by years of shrinking returns, is not the standard Kobe held the Lakers to. LeBron gave this team a championship. The Kobe standard, built over an entire career, was a lasting dynasty, not a single peak followed by a slow fade. Magic Johnson's Lakers won again and again across a full decade. Kareem's Lakers did the same. The Kobe's own Lakers reached the finals many times over many years. Measured against that history, one title in 8 seasons tells its own quiet story. A story about a great player who arrived late in his own timeline and never quite found the lasting core those earlier eras had around them. There is one more piece to this story, and it may be the most important part. The LeBron did not just play against other teams during his years in Los Angeles. In many ways, he played against a memory, a legacy that never left the building. The Kobe was not simply a great player who once wore the same jersey. The Kobe was built in Los Angeles. He struggled there as a teenager. He won there as a champion. He failed there in public, then rose again in front of the same fans who watched him fall. That kind of bond takes years to build, and it cannot be bought or traded for. LeBron arrived in Los Angeles as one of the greatest players the sport has ever produced. But even at his best, he sometimes felt like a giant simply passing through. Not a player who grew up with the city the way Kobe did. Still gather at Kobe's statue. That image alone says something no stat line ever could. It is not that Lakers fans disliked LeBron. Many of them loved watching him play. It is that love and deep belonging are not always the same feeling, and the difference between them shaped how his whole era in Los Angeles is remembered. So where does that leave the whole story? LeBron James is still one of the greatest basketball players to ever step on a court. Nobody can take that away from him. He won a championship in Los Angeles. He gave this franchise years of unforgettable basketball and real real, historic moments, nights that Lakers fans will remember for the rest of their lives. That part of the story deserves full respect, but Kobe warned, years before any of this played out, that building a team around one man controlling every possession was not the same thing as building a dynasty. At the time, almost nobody wanted to hear it. The Lakers were finally relevant again, fans were finally happy, and warnings about the future felt unnecessary in the middle of so much excitement. Years later, watching how the era actually closed, with one title, a thinning roster, and a quiet final exit, that early warning is hard to ignore. The Kobe respected LeBron the entire time, and that respect never once wavered, even in the middle of every hard critique he offered. He even said their two games could have worked beautifully together, a compliment he never took back. But respect and agreement are not the same thing. The Kobe saw a hidden cost inside LeBron's greatness, and in the end, the story of the Lakers proved he was paying close attention all along. He watched a friend and a rival build something remarkable, then quietly worried that remarkable was never quite the same thing as lasting. The history, in the end, quietly and clearly sided with the old warning that nobody truly wanted to hear.